Well, hello everyone. Today we have with us Dr. Sampriti Sarkar from the University of Tennessee, Knoxville. Hello, Sampriti, for joining us. She's going to be sharing with us a little bit about her work on water resources and how economics can be used to understand more about water scarcity and what we can do about it. Sampriti, thank you so much for your time and for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me here. Yeah, it's great. I hope I can talk a little bit about my research and hope that interests the students.
Absolutely. So I have a list of questions for you. So let's just jump right in. So my first question for you is, can you tell us a little bit, about yourself, including your research interests, professional interests, so on and so forth?
Yeah, sure. So as Monty introduced, my name is Sampriti. I'm originally from India, where I did my undergrad and master's, and then I came to the US to do my PhD in 2020. My PhD is in agricultural economics and environmental science and policy program. So it's a dual major. So it's a little bit different in terms of my second major also opened up an opportunity for me to collaborate with different disciplines. So that was really interesting.
Great.
And I got my PhD last year in August, and then I started my new job here at University of Tennessee. So yeah, I'm excited about this job and my future research pipeline. But most of my research essentially focuses on issues that are at the intersection of agriculture, environment, and behavior.
Mhm.
So I focus on how we can produce more efficiently and more sustainably. And I'm also very curious and interested about how people make decisions under uncertainty, under risks, so under changing climate. So there's all these different aspects of human behavior I'm also very interested about. So yeah, that's what most of my research topics are related to, and much of my current research agenda is also focused on water resources,
Mhm.
and also that includes both surface water and drinking water as well.
I see. I see. This is going to be very interesting for our class because we have already talked about concepts related to, risk and uncertainty, and climate change is kind of like an underlying topic which pretty much touches on everything that we environmental and natural resource economists do. So great. My next question for you is that what got you interested in economics and especially water resources?
Yeah. So I wish I had a really motivating story to tell you why I pursued economics in the first place, but the story is really different. I can say that why I continued with economics. So initially I wanted to be a doctor, like the real doctor, not like fake like doctors as like us.
I know, I know.
PhD
Gotta
doctors,
be
yeah.
careful.
Yeah, but then that did not work out. So I thought I'll take up economics, see how it goes for 1 year, and see if it suits me or not. But what really kept me going with economics is the structure of analyzing human behavior within a framework,
Mhm.
which is like our discipline is not exactly science, it's not exactly arts as well. It's somewhere in between. But at the same time, it relies a lot on intuition, which I found to be really interesting. A lot of economic concepts are really intuitive. Even though we use a lot of math, you don't need to know a lot of math to understand economics. So I liked these aspects, and that's why I kept studying it. And specifically, what got me interested in my PhD dissertation, which I'm going to talk a little bit more about,
Mhm.
is a particular report that I came across. So I was exploring topics for my PhD thesis, and I came across this report that said that some households in Michigan were spending up to 25% of their disposable income on water and sewer bills. So that seemed like a lot of money for me. It's like almost like a rent, and
That's right.
some people are spending that on water and
Mhm.
sewer bills. So that's what got me interested more in the drinking water aspects. I wanted to understand what's driving these issues and what's happening here.
Awesome, awesome. That dovetails very nicely into my next question, which is that, you recently published a paper that looked at the general public's valuation preferences for water infrastructure in the US. Can you tell us a little bit, describe to the students a little bit about the study and what were your key, how was the study innovative? So, what was it about? How was it innovative and what were some findings?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I really enjoyed working on that project. So that project basically evaluates public valuation on two kinds of policies, water infrastructure and water affordability. So when I talk about water infrastructure, most of the people here in US think about lead service lines, about water quality. So these are important issues to consumer, but at the same time, people often do not think much about it because most of the infrastructure are hidden out of sight. So we never see the conditions of this infrastructure. But in reality, most of the infrastructure were established 50 to 100 years ago. They're aging, they're reaching the end of their lifespan, and that creates a lot of problems for consumers because aging infrastructure affects water quality. It affects like aging sewer pipes also affects surface water quality. So these are issues that are important to consumers. But aging water infrastructure is also costly to manage. So what happens is when the cost increases, utilities also pass some of this cost to consumers. So
Mm-hmm.
people are also paying higher bills to maintain this old infrastructure. That's also creating some of the affordability issues. Like for many households, this rising water and sewer bills is much higher than their rise in income.
Mm-hmm.
So that's creating affordability issues for them. So this study was designed to find if there's a way to replace infrastructure without also worsening the affordability concerns. Because there's a affordability program right now in the US, but the future of that program is uncertain. There's not enough funds to it. And the infrastructure needs are also substantial, like
Mm-hmm.
billions of dollars are needed in the next 20 years. So this was the setting, and so I wanted to understand public valuation for infrastructure replacement and also affordability policy. That's first objective of the paper. But what was also personally very interesting for me is the second objective is how public behavior affects this policy valuation. So I focus on two kinds of behavior. The first one is altruistic preferences. So altruistic preference is basically simply it's how much you care about other person without
Mm-hmm.
expecting anything in return.
That's right.
So you might ask me why altruism is important and how it is related to water and sewer policies. So water and sewer policies and these goods are public goods. So even if you pay for them individually, if there's an improvement in water, everyone in the community benefits, not just you. So that's why many research shows that altruistic preferences, that is, if you care about your community and other people, you might be willing to support these kind of policies. So I focus on altruism behavior, and also I focus on another kind of behavior, like how do households think about the beneficiaries of an affordability program. So that's also another aspect that I explore in my study. So what's innovative about this paper is both the setting. There is not much work out there that evaluates that. And we also develop a new way of measuring altruism. That is also one contribution of this paper. So yeah, any questions so far? Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this is great, and I think one of the things that you bring up, which is I find it resonates with me personally a lot, is that sometimes problems are they seem insurmountable largely because you can never see it around you.
Right.
I attended this talk years ago, where somebody, his name is Anthony Lizerowitz. I think he's at Yale or he was at Yale. He says that, global warming and climate change is so hard to address. And then he just, he goes, you don't see air.
Yeah.
He did that.
Yeah.
during the talk, and I
Right.
still remember that. And you are absolutely right. You're focusing on a particular aspect of water distribution or water access, which nobody sees and so nobody
Right.
thinks about. But it
Right.
needs to be fixed if you're thinking about addressing water scarcity
Hmm.
issues. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Great, great. So what were your key findings?
Yeah. So, key findings include firstly, we do find there is public support for both kinds of policies, so that's good part. But
Mm-hmm.
we also see that the behaviors affect these policies a lot. For example, if you're an altruistic person, you're more likely to have higher support for these programs. But
Mm-hmm.
what's interesting is that we find that if you're a person, if you're a household who thinks that beneficiaries of an affordability program are going to misuse the program, like if they're going to end up wasting more water, then even if you're an altruistic person, your support for water affordability programs would be lower. So I think that was really interesting for me personally because I think there's a communication gap here. So the way the water affordability policies are mostly designed is that you get a subsidized rate for your water and sewer bills. But if you continue to waste water, your bills will still go up. So there shouldn't be an incentive for recipients of an
Mm-hmm.
affordable program to waste water. However, general public do not know this information.
I
They
didn't know it.
yeah. So if they hear about an affordability program, they're gonna think most people are getting free water, the low income household, and they'll end up wasting more water. So that significantly lowers the support. So that's why we discuss in terms of policy implications that
Mm-hmm.
this disconnect needs to be addressed. And another thing is that again brings us to the first point that most of this infrastructure is very hidden out of sight. So most people do not feel the tangible impact of aging infrastructure on their life, right? Most of the effects, it's very hard to perceive. So it
Mm-hmm.
is also important for policymakers to make these impacts more tangible so that consumers can feel the impact because otherwise it's very hard.
Right. How do you value something that you don't even know, that
Right,
you don't see?
right, right,
That's right. And I think that is like the people. So we have a survey component for my class, and I think one of the main things that I share with my students is that you really have to uh, target the specific group. You have to
right,
be very, very careful about who you are targeting, because if that particular group doesn't care about your research question, there's no point in doing that survey.
right.
And I think that part about, there's no point in measuring preferences for
Mm,
a group who doesn't have preferences for a particular thing. And in
right,
this case, they do, they just don't realize it because they
right,
don't see it. Awesome.
right.
Excellent. So my last question to you is that water bankruptcy is a very important issue. It's recently been in the news. In what way does your study that you just published link to this issue? And you may have already talked a little bit about this.
Yeah, so I think I do not directly address that in the paper, but I do want to talk about it. Like water bankruptcy, as you mentioned, is a
Right.
very important issue right now. So many areas of the earth are now overstressed. We are withdrawing much more than the earth can replenish.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was doing this research, as I was mentioning, most of the people hear about water utilities and infrastructure, and they think about lead service lines, water quality. But one thing that is often not getting like enough attention, both in media and in research, is the amount of water wastage due to aging infrastructure. So the
Mm-hmm.
numbers are really stark. So I think every day in the US, around 7 billion gallons of water are wasted due to aging infrastructure being one of the major things. It's like it leaks. And what happens is that these are treated water. So it's not only that the resource is getting wasted, but think about all the
Okay.
chemical, energy, everything that goes into like treating that water. That's
Right.
also becoming a waste. And on top of that, to replenish that, you're withdrawing more from the surface and groundwater resources. So it's a lot. Like I think for in 1 year, it's like trillions of gallons of treated water that gets wasted. And aging infrastructure is a huge problem for that. So definitely, like when we talk about water bankruptcy, we focus a lot on the conservation side by households, by farmers. But this is also another issue I think that needs more discussion.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think and I will tell you, Sampriti, one of the reasons that I reached out to you to ask you if you would speak to my students is because personally I feel, and I'm not a water researcher, I feel that at least myself, whenever I'm thinking about water and water scarcity, I'm always thinking about my behaviors, how
Mm-hmm.
I can reduce water. But sometimes, there are these other factors which you deal with in your research, yeah, which also needs to be simultaneously addressed or addressed first, whatever it might be, before in addition to get asking households to reduce their water usage
Right,
as well. And
right,
that was the first thing that came to my mind, is that wow, I never thought of water conservation from that perspective. So in
right.
that sense, to me personally, your study has been really, really impactful because it's made me think in a different way about water conservation. So
Right.
yes, thank you so much
Sure.
for your time, and
Sure. Yeah.
I wish you all the best.
Yeah.
With
Thank you so much. Yeah.
great, great. Already hitting stop here.